Welcome to Real Talk episode 25. I am Brian Rose and we're here at London Real Studios, but I'm all alone. I got nobody here with me because this is where I get to answer your questions live for 30 minutes. You put them on Instagram. I'm on Facebook Live as we speak, which you can go check out on my personal profile. Got your questions on the London Real Academy, everything. And this week we're going to talk about me. My birthday, I turned 45 years old yesterday. I know I don't look a day over 37, but it's true, I'm 45, and so I thought we could talk about getting old, what it means, how you feel about getting old. Luis is turning 30 in a couple weeks, and we all feel kind of strange about getting old, and I wanted to give you my perspective on how I've changed. I distinctly remember turning 30. I distinctly remember being 25 and kind of struggling through these different age levels. I couldn't be happier to be 45, to be honest. I can't wait till I'm 50. I just seem to get calmer, better, and just get better perspective as I get older. So I want to get your questions and find out what you think. But at the same time, also, I like to use my physical body a lot, and it gets different as you get older. You can't do everything you used to be able to do, but in a weird way, I like how I'm moving now better than I did, say, 10 years ago when I was just trying to bench press maximum and do all these other crazy things that younger men try to do. And that's okay too. I get it. So we'll be talking about that tonight. But first, I just want to check up on what's going on with us here at London Real. Again, I'm on Facebook Live if you want to answer questions. If you're watching us on YouTube, you can type in some questions there, and Danny will beam them over right here to my iPad. So we can do that. But a few things happening here on London Real. We have TEDx London Real happening here at the studios on Saturday. The 10 members of our How to Ace Your TED Talk course have finished 10 weeks of training. It's been absolutely brutal. You have me basically on your hide and on your tail twice a week on live calls. We do it Tuesday night and Sunday night for an hour. And these guys have been just pulling their hair out, trying to come up with a TED Talk that embodies everything of who they are as a person, because you've basically got 14 minutes to get on stage and talk about something that's so important that people should listen. And one of the analogies I made in week 3, I was thinking of the movie Cash, and it was Johnny Cash, and it was played by, who's the guy? Joaquin Phoenix, right? And there was this one part where he's playing this song, and it's like a gospel song to one of the famous labels who signed Elvis Presley. I think he was in Nashville. And he's playing this gospel song, and the guy's like, hold on a second. He said, what if you got hit by a truck and you had 2 or 3 minutes to live? He's like, is that the song you would play me? And Johnny looked at him and he's like, And he's like, so play the song that you would play if you had 3 minutes left on this earth. And so I actually said that to the guys on the TED Talk course. And I was like, you know what? One guy's talking about business systems and one guy was talking about something else. And I was like, no, what's the talk you'd have to give if it's the last thing you could say? And if your great-great-grandchildren saw you give that on stage, that's the talk I want. It's got to be the talk that dives into your soul, that you get vulnerable, that you talk about something real important to you, and that's what the audience is going to feel. So these guys went back to work. They went back to the salt mines, as we call it on the course, which means you got to lock yourself in a dark room and you got to go deep and try to create. And they've come up with some amazing talks. So I'm super excited. We've got, I think, 6 guys in the studio. We're beaming one guy in from California, one guy in from Sweden, and one guy in from Europe to give their talks. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We won't stream it to you because they're not ready for prime time, but if a few of them go well, we will put them out. So that's happening right now. Super exciting. And just a couple other things going on with London Real. Mr. Julian Bales just announced, and something we were talking about here on the Facebook Live group, our super focus group, June 17th. We are having a big gathering of London Real Academy members only, but we learned a lot from the summit experience where we had 200 people fly from around the world, and I'm telling you, the energy that day was just off the charts. Luis is busy boiling it down into some beautiful moments on video, and you're going to see it soon. It was just incredible, the kind of vibrations we got when you get all these hardcore London Reelers in the room. We definitely had some seismic shifts. People took some days to process it, but it's great being around people that are like you, that are open to new ideas and want to see you be the best version of yourself. So we're going to do it again here in London. So sign up for that. Again, we just sent it out on email tonight, so you can click into that. Super pumped about that. What else is happening? Just a bunch of new changes to the Academy. If you're on the Academy now, you probably noticed some big changes. First of all, the website is faster than ever. New features. There are now 5 episodes on early release for Academy members only. So you could have watched Simon Sinek, which came out Sunday, 2 weeks early. You can now watch Oliver Proudlock, Alex Reed, Mike Dolce, Mark Wright. Am I forgetting anybody? I think there's one more. You can watch all of those early. The site is blisteringly fast. There are a bunch of new events happening around the world that you can sign up to as well. You can search for members based on different traits that you have and different activities. And more stuff is coming. We've just announced our monthly member Mastermind series, and it's me giving talks for the next 5 months, again, only for Academy members. We do it through a Zoom call format, so where we can all see each other and we can all talk to each other. And the idea is I'm giving some of the knowledge that we teach on our Business Accelerator course and our TED Talk course just out to the Academy members. It's 30 minutes of knowledge dropped and 30 minutes of your questions. And again, it's live. And afterwards, I leave the call open so you guys can actually talk to each other and probably hang out and talk to people that you've just met on the Facebook group or on the chat section on the Academy. So all sorts of crazy good stuff is happening. We've had a record day here at London Real for new member signups, all these amazing people, and a lot of people are doing the annual membership, which means we do this goal setting call, which I had on Monday. We did a goal setting call. We had guys from Dubai, a guy just posted from Kuala Lumpur, and it was just about getting ideas out for SMART goals for 3 months. So we do those now regularly. If you want to upgrade to annual, you can do that really easily and then get on with me with a goal setting call. But just a lot more touch points for us into the Academy and things we've learned really by teaching these courses, by doing these huge gatherings like the Summit and the Super Focus Group. So it took us a little while, but we learn and we're getting better. And so lots of exciting things happening here. So let's jump into getting old. Please drop your questions for me here on the Facebook Live, or put them into YouTube, or go ahead and put them on the Academy private Facebook group. Danny's there and he's going to dump them into this document. And I can answer them for you. But just, yeah, finally, we've been broadcasting like crazy. I always tell Mariana, I think I must be maybe attention whore. I'm not sure, because I'm broadcast live like 4 days a week or 5 days a week now, because it's Sunday, Tuesday, Monday, Wednesday, and now tomorrow. I have Ben Greenfield here, a tremendous triathlete, biohacker, and of course you can watch that episode live as well on the Academy at 5 o'clock. Ben is amazing. I've been on his podcast. He's been on the show before, and he's had really, he's a man that's always evolving. He's got a compound up in Washington State where he's pretty much biohacked his entire house. He is all about doing things to enhance his performance. He did 24-hour, the toughest Mudder race. He's had some amazing successes and failures in some of his ultra performance races this year, and he's going to talk about them. So super excited for that. And of course, on Tuesday night, we had Module 1 with the 30 members of the Business Accelerator course. It's absolutely insane. I've got people in Vancouver, 2 people in Hong Kong, people all across America, all across Europe, and we're all getting their business ideas down. This week, we were talking about finding your micro niche. I really push people into really getting into a specific sector of your business before you decide to launch your product, because it makes it much easier, but we all resist doing that because we want to keep our markets really broad. So we're doing that. Everyone's putting their pitch videos in, the hero's journeys, and it's an incredible class, really impressive group, some amazing people, ex-Wall Streeters, ex-CEOs of some very large corporations. We've got people in there like Lisa May from Expat Real. We've got movement specialists that have trained under Ido Portal. It's just an incredible group. I love it. So that's happening right now. But let's get into your questions. I'm getting old and I'm talking more. So let's jump in. Yesterday, I turned 45 years old. It was my birthday. And for me, it was like any normal day because I actually love what I'm doing. I don't have to do this. It's not really a job. So Mariana was like, what do you want to do for your birthday? And I'm like, I want to come into the studio. I want to hang out with the team. I want to work on making the Academy better. I want to book great guests, and I want to do the live call for the Mastermind. So we did all that, but then I grabbed dinner with Mariana, which we haven't done in a long time because she's fairly large right now. And so getting her out is like hard, but we had a really nice time. It was just me and her, and it was cool just to kind of think about where we're at right now. I got this baby boy who's supposed to show up any day now, but he's being fashionably not late, but he's taking his time, so that's happening. We got everything ready. Of course, I'm sure I can never be ready for him showing up. But it's interesting to think about my age. And so I'd like to answer your questions tonight about getting older, what it feels like to get older. I feel pretty good. And I've been lucky enough to have a movement practice, thanks in part to Ido Portal, who really changed the way I look at my own movements probably 9 months ago. And the funny thing is I had Ido on the show in 2014, 2 years ago, and he talked about movement practice, and I said, I'm really looking into a new movement practice, but I didn't do anything about it. And so many times we're stuck in these ruts and we just don't do anything. We just don't effing do it. And I sat around for a year, and it took me interviewing him a second time before I actually got off my butt and went to one of his experiences and now changed my movement practice. And now you see me posting breakdancing videos, and I know it might seem silly that, like, on one hand, I'm teaching like 30 people around the world how to accelerate their business. On the other hand, I'm doing a top rock Indian step, and I'm doing windmills on the ground. But for me, it all seems very normal. And I've been blessed to have two amazing b-boys that are now coming to London every other week. And one of them is b-boy Mark Jacob, Remarkable, who takes a train down from Manchester every other Sunday to teach me b-boy moves for 2 hours. And the other one is Alexander Ziri, who was part of Team Schmeta, serious b-boy crew, back in 2005 until now. And he teaches me on the other weekend, and he takes a train on the Eurostar just to teach me, and I repay them by hopefully giving them some mentoring and help them out in what they're doing. But I've been lucky to actually pursue my movement practice, and I think that's kept me very young, just moving in different ways and just thinking differently. I trained a long time as a martial artist, and I trained Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Thai boxing, but now I love just moving in different ways, hanging, ring muscle ups, muscle up work, lizard walking, and then I just fell into breakdancing because, quite honestly, it just felt natural to me because I was moving on the ground with my hands, and I'm a bit surprised that Ido Portal doesn't do more breakdancing, and I'm going to ask him about that next time I see him. So that's what's been going on with me, but it makes me feel good, it makes me feel young, and it makes me feel really good. I really believe that the body is the mind. I learned that from Elliot Hulse, huge fan of Elliot. We did a lot of active meditation at the summit, which is coming up soon, and that's another practice that I use and I can talk about. But I believe that your body does determine what's going on in your mind. And so the more I move in these new and creative ways, the more my brain stays fresh and creative. And I hear about these people with these back problems and elbow problems and knee problems, and I don't want to generalize, but I really believe that constantly moving, constantly pushing yourself, sometimes through painful situations, and trust me, balancing on your hand in a breakdancing pose, it hurts at first, and your wrists say no, and it says don't do this, but I do push through that because, it's something Ido taught me. You should really get through what is real pain and what is pain just saying, I might need to just ease into this. So I've been really trying to move my body in all these different ways, and I think it's really helped me age somewhat gracefully. I feel good. I feel relatively healthy. Sometimes when I get out of bed, some things creak, but I just try to make sure I move 5 days a week and just move in all sorts of different ways and stay fluid and stay open and have fun with my movement and not just be stuck in old ways of kicking Thai pads, benching heavy, although I posted my squat today. I don't know why I post these squat workouts, but if you want, I will continue to post some of those. And I'm just trying to stay active, and I think that has a lot to do with it. So let me jump into a couple of your questions, and we'll talk a bit more about age. And again, hit me with some questions here. I see Alexander Ball's in here. Danny's asking me questions. Oh, Danny's posting questions from YouTube. Is that right? Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Good. Actually, so Jogs asked me a question on Instagram, and he says, Brian, a motto I tend to live by in terms of fitness as I get older is, quote, it's not about your body looking good, it's about your body working good. What are some of your philosophies or mantras as you get older? Great question. Really good question. When I started training jiu-jitsu, I was 32 years old. I just moved to London. It was 2002, so maybe I was 31. And I became obsessed with jiu-jitsu, as many young men do. You become obsessed with this fighting art and you start learning all these intricacies. You want to know the latest submission. You want to roll all the time. You want to watch old episodes of Pride Fighting Championships and UFC. And that's what I was doing. And then I got into, my body started changing. And I remember looking at my hands and like they started getting veins in the back of them, and like my body changed. And before that, I really wasn't training very often, and it was really encouraging. And I started thinking about my diet, and I just saw myself transform, and quite honestly, my posture transformed, and the way I behaved around people transformed, because I felt very comfortable from a self-defense standpoint. And I'll be honest, I had guys in the city and bankers and people that would try to physically intimidate you, and like they wouldn't tell you that they would do that, but they would. They would try to physically intimidate you, and just not being intimidated by them would get you through a lot of business situations. And you would think that in the banking industry there wouldn't be any of that going on, but in any alpha scenario, there's a lot of that going on with men and probably with women too. And so being in that movement practice really helped me a lot, and it helps me to this day, because people know if you feel comfortable and if you feel like you can handle yourself. And that's why I always think that martial arts are a great training ground for men and women, because it gives you a calmness about you, which I think really helps. But yes, I used to be thinking about a bigger lift, a bigger body, all of those kinds of things. And when you're up till say 35, 37, 38, I think you can continue to get new record lifts and new squats and new bench presses, and that stuff's great to do for a while, but at some point you have to ask, why am I doing it? And it's a question we asked on London Real a year ago, like, why are we trying to get YouTube subscribers? What's the point? Aren't we really trying to touch the most people possible? Well, then doesn't that mean you need to set up an academy and get people in one space? Doesn't that mean you need to set up business accelerator programs and TED Talk accelerators and teach people? So we started thinking about like your dogma, like why are you trying to get where you want to get? And it needs to ultimately be about what your why is. And so it's a question we're always asking around here at London Real. So with your own fitness goals, I was like, why am I trying to lift more weight? And so now I've been thinking about more, I love my body to work. So now I've just been laying off trying to get as big as possible and just trying to have my movement functional. And to be honest, it's really frustrated my personal trainers, because they're like, Brian, let's do our normal workout, which means let's lift heavy, let's do bicep curls, let's do ab work. And I'm like, well, how does that actually contribute to my breakdancing? How does that make me feel good? So I'm starting to ask different questions. So yeah, as I get older, I want my body to keep working. I want to be breakdancing and moving and doing lizard walks and being able to roll jujitsu and to run with Gabby and to play with Gabby. She's pretty good in jujitsu. She tried to choke me out on Sunday. We were rolling in the grass, and she gets pretty nasty because I taught her some tricks. And I want to be able to tap her out as long as I can. And so right now my body needs to keep working. So for any of you out there that are getting a little older, I would say you really want to be moving. And whether that means yoga or lizard walks or breakdancing or dancing or running or lifting, but just have a movement practice. And I think a lot of physical pain comes about by people not being active. And everyone has a story, and people not taking care of their diet and their bodies. And I think the more you move, the more you think about your diet. And I must say, I had Timothy Sheaf in here, the vegan prince, in this chair doing a handstand in the chair, which I'll do mine a little bit later. But he started moving, and he's gone more vegan. And I must say, I'm going vegan like once a day this week. Uh-oh, I said it. Insert hate underneath here. And I must say that the more I move, the harder it is for me to look at a piece of red meat. And I don't know what's going on there, but there could be a correlation. So yes, I am taking care of my body, and that's one of the big things I'm thinking about as I get older. So there you go. Thank you, Instagram, for that question. I'm going now to Facebook Live. Danny, any comments here that you think are good stuff or stuff that looks you like the best? Let me see. Comes with age. Let me just see here. Somebody asked me a question earlier as far as I get older. Someone says how you keep fresh during the day, and if I've gotten more frustrated or more calm or peaceful as I've gotten older. And so, yeah, that's one of the things that I have noticed as I get a bit older. You just tend to recognize that people around you that are younger used to be just like you. And I like to think I can see this even when I see Gabby, my 12-year-old daughter. When I see her, I'm like, I used to be 12, and I used to be a little irrational, and I used to slam doors, and I used to just rebel against my parents because they were there. And so now I try to just understand that about her. And now when I meet people or see people in the team that are like 30, or I have guests here that are 30, I look at them and I'm like, you know what? I remember when I was 30, and first of all, a 45-year-old definitely didn't get it, so I wasn't really talking to me. And they were going through their own issues and their own dramas and traumas. And when I was 27, 28, I mean, I was having a real hard time barely keeping my life together, because I think it's a really tricky time in your life, trying to figure out who you are and still trying to rebel and be angry and express yourself. And so, yeah, as I get older, I'd like to think that I understand other people around me a little bit better, and I understand myself a little bit better, and I try to be a little more philosophical about the world, as in everyone's kind of on their journey. Let them express themselves. As long as they're not hurting me, then I can let them live their life. And you know, we're all on these different paths, and if our paths cross, that's great. And if they don't for a while, that's cool too. And hopefully we'll see you back on London Real in a year or two, and we'll check in on you. And so I think I've become a little bit more tolerant with that age. I hope. But again, I'm always balancing this, and sometimes I revert back to the 20-year-old Brian, who is very, very egotistical and wants things to work now, and wants the business to work now, and wants all the greatest guests on now. And so I really have to balance that all the time. But, you know, don't we all? And, you know, I was thinking today about age. And, you know, one of the people that's been in my life lately in the last couple of years, who I love and hate simultaneously, is Mr. Dan Pena, who's now 71. And, you know, Dan's keeping it together pretty good for 71, still doing what he loves, still out there, still raising hell. And so it just makes me think, I mean, I don't have a lot of time, but I do have 25 more years to kind of keep doing this, and probably a little bit longer. So I feel like I'm halfway, but if I continue to keep my mind fresh, do the things I love, keep the body working, then I should be able to do this for a little while. And that's a nice thing to realize, that life doesn't have to end when you're 50 or 60. And, you know, my dad's 70 and my mom's 70, and they're still doing amazing things. My mom just went to North Korea. She just went to Antarctica for the 3rd time. She just went to Japan. She's like crazy, living her life. And my dad as well. Like he does all sorts of crazy things. And so I'd like to think that we can all do that. And I think a lot of people, a lot of age. And there's one question, and this is a tip you might want to use when it comes to your age. If ever you feel that you're saying to yourself, I'm too old for X, I always say this, and this is a little take on the London Real final question I ask guests. If you're ever feeling that way, then give yourself a call to the person you are 10 years from now. So for me, that would be the 55-year-old Brian. And explain to 55-year-old Brian that you're too old to start dancing, you're too old to start an entirely new media company, that you're too old to have another child, that you're too old to change cities and move to India, that you're too old to start a new business, all that stuff. And tell the 55-year-old that, and the 55-year-old Brian would say, Brian, if I could be 45 again, I would do all of those things now. So don't tell me you're too old. And I really believe that's true. So always put it in perspective with your older self, because he or she would say, what are you, crazy? This is the time to do these things. And I actually got an email from someone today who said, Brian, you don't understand my life. I live in Guernsey. It's this island here, and I'm into meditation, but I don't think the Academy can help me because I don't know. There's nothing around me that I can do. No one wants to do the things I love, and I don't think that it will be of help. And I was like, dude, you can choose now to change your life. There's all these people out there waiting to help you. As soon as the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And don't tell me that you have circumstances that make it where you can't change your life. Of course you can. You know, of course you can. You're plugged into 7 billion people in the world. They're all out there waiting to see you, touch you, look at you, visit you. So it's really you that put those barriers around you. And when it comes to your age, I think a lot of people just put themselves and judge themselves by their age and say, don't act your age. If you haven't noticed, I try not to act my age a lot, and hence those posts on Instagram and all that nonsense. All right, let me go to a Facebook question, because I'm talking like a crazy man here. Let me say, this comes from Alexander Ball, who is in our TED Talk course. Alexander's traveling from Amsterdam, who's going to be here on Saturday, literally right here in 3 days, giving his talk about children and how they relate to money, and how the piggy bank isn't what it used to be, and how we need to teach them about digital currencies. It's an amazing talk, Alexander. No pressure. You said, what was it like to live through the wars and the civil rights movement? Oh, come on, Alexander. Damn, play me like that in live television. Okay, let me see. Time for reflection. What was the happiest moment of your life? Wow, Alexander, really put me on the spot here. Happiest moment of my life. Well, I've been told that it's going to be when Brian Rose Jr. meet him. I don't really know what it's going to be like. I can't even imagine what that's going to be like. I see him right now, and he's in the belly. So I don't know what's going to be like. I'm sure it's going to be very happy. Happiest moment in my life. That's a great question. I don't know. Gabby wrote me a birthday card last night. Almost made me cry. That was pretty happy moment. Pretty happy moment. I don't know. I have them all the time. Sometimes I have an epiphany of how lucky I am just to be here, talking with amazing people. Just to be alive still. I remember a time where I was close to not being alive about 15 years ago. So I'm really glad just to be here and be at the party. Very grateful. I don't really have to fake my gratitude because I am really happy to be here, to be in a city where I'm free, where I'm able to express myself and also do that and create a business around it. I still get really touched when I meet people who love the show. I get touched when I help people in their businesses and help people with TED Talks. It really pumps me up. I was in a great mood for my birthday yesterday. The guy surprised me with a cupcake in the studio. Didn't see that coming. That was awesome. But then I got in a bit of a funk, but at the end of the Business Accelerator course, I was excited again. So I think I really am excited by connecting with people. So happiest moment of my life, I don't know. I'm trying to think of big ones. I mean, graduating from MIT was fun. Moving to new cities like London and New York. When I gave my TED Talk, that was great. The summit was a really powerful feeling. There was a lot of tension up to that moment, and just being in the room with all those people felt like we were all one organism, like one organism. And I do think that all of us human beings are one organism, and we don't realize it. And I'm working on that for my next TED Talk. And I think that's what London Real is all about, the art of listening to each other, because we're all part of this one big thing. And kind of like ants don't know that they're connected, I think we really don't get we're connected sometimes. And I'm working on that, and this is one of the benefits of getting older, is I can start to form these ideas that 35-year-old Brian would have been like, shut the fuck up, get some money in your bank account. And so now I can kind of put some of this stuff in perspective. So that's one of the benefits of getting older. All right, cool. Let me go to a couple more questions here. I don't know where this real talk is going. Let me see. Some great things here. Jason Holmes is saying London is the place to be to succeed. Yes, I agree. I encourage a lot of people to get to London just because it has, if you're young or not even young, if you've got an idea that you want to pursue or a business, it's great to get where there's a critical mass of people so you can bounce that idea off of people. I don't think you can create businesses without being in the same room with people, because I think you need to bounce those ideas off and see and innovate and look each other in the eyes, and that's why I think it's important to move to a big city if you can to get your idea going. So that's great. Alex Springer said, what would you say to your 18-year-old self? Alex Springer, is that our audio guy from the summit meeting? Alex, what the hell's going on, buddy? Dude, man, we got to talk to you. Alex was our audio guy at the summit at the Royal Aeronautical Society. Very cool guy. He did a crazy impression of Eric Thomas, the hip hop preacher. Insane. Advice to my 18-year-old self. You know what? What would I say? I was just going to MIT. Honestly, just get out of your own way. Stop trying to put the square peg in the round hole. Relax. Don't try to force it. Don't try to make it all about you, because it's great to get things done for you, and I think it's important to get things done, but also see what you can do to help other people, because ultimately it has the sick reward that your own success and your own money and your own accomplishment can't provide. So doing those things for others is really important, if I could say that. And just relax, calm down, use that 10-year horizon. I think Gary Vee said that as well. Don't be in a rush. Don't sacrifice those short-term gains for those long-term pieces. Really think with that broad time horizon. Gary Vee was very true about that. And, for me, just to kind of close out, for me, I'm just looking forward. I mean, Ice-T once said that, at 50, it all gets easier, because you can start to see the game from a bird's eye perspective. And you can start to see like, oh, I see how it works. Oh, you got to do that. And I see that young gun or that young stud who's 30, who's running around, running into things and trying to force the agenda. When you're 50, you can sit back and be like, you know what? Okay, we're going to let that happen over here. Then we're going to let this happen over here. And we're going to put some honey over here, and some flies are going to come over here, and we're going to use some carrots and not use some sticks. And I feel like the game is becoming much more obvious to me now as I get older. And so that's a nice thing. I love youth. I love being around people that want to get it done right now, and I get it, and I feel that way sometimes too. But now I just feel like I can watch it happen a little bit more. I also value young people because they like to break things down and create new things, and they don't want to hear from old people. So that's where a lot of fun stuff happens, new ideas happen. So I'd like to think we're going to keep that new vibe and new energy here in the studios. We got what, 18, 19-year-old Danny? How old are you, Danny? 19. Luis is almost turning 30. He's old. We got to get somebody younger. Julian is turning 35. He's going to kill me for that because he's younger. But it's good to have some young blood in here to just remind me that I don't know what time it is, because us old people don't know what time it is. And we got to listen to the youth and watch what they're doing, because they're the future, and respect them for that. Try to guide them, try to mentor them, but also try not to live their lives for them, because they don't want to be the carbon copy of you, and they don't want to be the version you think they should be. So just try to guide them, try to give them some knowledge, try to help them along the way. That's what we're trying to do here at London Real. We're trying to put out these pieces of beautiful evergreen content that will stay out there forever, and hopefully will just give value to people at certain points in their life. It'll make you say, wow, I didn't realize I needed to go this way with my life, and that's what we're really trying to do here at London Real, and that's our why, man. We just want to make some big changes in the world. We're here for a short amount of time. I'm 45, but I feel like I'm halfway there. And I'll probably not know what time it is around 85. I'll be like, who? London Real? What's that? So I got a limited amount of time here, and I think we all have precious amounts of time. And it's time to, as Jocko Willink would say, it's time to go out there and get after it now. And I really hope that you all get those messages from what we're doing here at London Real. Take the moment. Seize the day. Go out there and upgrade your peer group. Get rid of all those, mediocre people you're hanging with. Surround yourself with big people doing big things that talk about the future, that talk about ideas. They don't talk about people. They don't talk about the football score. They don't talk about gossip. They talk about things they want to create in the future, and new philosophies and new ways of being, and talk about your projects and things you're going to do. Take risk, take a chance, build that business, change cities. Start a new movement practice, ditch that old diet, ditch that old way of thinking. Like, that's what we're all about here, and that's what the Academy is about. That's what our Accelerator programs are all about. And when I read my obituary one day, it's going to be Brian Rose, known for London Real and all of the mind shift that he created, and the different way that people thought, and all of these great people that came out of the back of it. And I just want people around me to be successful. I just want that to be successful. And it doesn't even have to be attributed to London Real. I don't even care. I just want to see all of you win. So I'm going to close on that. If you got any questions for me, leave them for me for the next Real Talk, which we're doing a week from now. You can leave them on the Academy under Real Talk. Leave them on my Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, on Snapchat, London Real TV. And until then, I'll see you next week.